Good morning and welcome to our kitchen. I'm Gordy Galusha.
I'm Nancy Ostrich.
And today we're going to be making a colorful chicken casserole and a chocolate pie. And we're going to start out with Nancy.
Yes, I'm melting down 2 tablespoons of butter in my fry pan here. This is number 264. Number 264. I lose track. In this pan in front of me, I have already cooked spaghetti that I broke up into smaller sections, about 7 ounce of spaghetti, and that I will be using in a while for the casserole. But first of all, I have to saute in this butter or margarine 2 celery ribs chopped, about 3/4 of a cup of onion chopped, and if you like green pepper, which I don't particularly, though I have chopped it up for recipes, I decided not to. I might have had to have bought 2 or 3 or 4, and green peppers go to waste in my house. So I've got plenty of green celery and white onion. So I'm going to have to saute this down. And then you would, if you wanted the green pepper, there would be a medium-sized green pepper chopped. So while that is happening, I'll turn it over to Gordy.
Okay, this morning I'm going to make a chocolate pie. Usually I like to make my own crust, but I didn't think we had a food processor, and that's what I mix up pie crust with. So I bought I usually have pie crust on hand in my freezer. I have it in the oven, and it takes about 14 minutes for it to brown. And in my pan, I have a 1/2 cup of cocoa powder, 1 1/8 cup of sugar, 1/3 of a cup of cornstarch, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And to this, I'm going to add 3 cups of milk, and 3 tablespoons of butter. Mix this all up. And you put it in a nice big pan like this so you can mix it. Make sure that you mix it well. See some little lumps here. Okay. And I'm going to put it on medium-high heat. And I've had an explosion. I got it all over me and all over the stove, and that's what happens when I fool around with flour or confectionery sugar. I'm a complete mess. I'm going to check my pie crust. I always keep pie crust on hand in my freezer. let it come to a boil, and you mix it continuously until it thickens. And in the meantime, you've got your pie crust in the oven. When that's done, I'll take it out and cool it down. And then when this is thick, I will put the chocolate pudding into the pie crust. Then I'll put the pie into the refrigerator and let it cool down. It doesn't take too long, but it just takes, it's time consuming to get the chocolate pudding thickened. So Nancy, you want to take a break?
Yeah, my celery and onion are still sauteing, so we're going to have to
Take a small
break until I get it cooked down. Okay, I think I've cooked down my vegetables, my celery and my onion enough, and I'm going to add 1 cup of chicken broth, and 1 cup of frozen peas, and 1 cup of frozen corn. I had them out, but they're still pretty frozen. But you certainly can defrost them, no problem. I want some salt and pepper to taste.
I forgot my whipped cream.
Want to get this up to a boil. Meanwhile, I have about a 2-quart baking dish that I've sprayed it with shortening, the spray shortening. And I'm going to add to my vegetables 3 cups of cube cooked chicken. And so many times when I go to, and what recipe do I want to do, calls for cooked chicken, and I have to figure out, I don't have a chicken cooked to use in the recipe, so what am I going to use? Well, sometimes I've used the canned chicken for casseroles, chicken breasts. This time I found some grilled chicken breast strips in the deli section of a grocery store, and 2 of these packages, they're both 6 ounces, and they have given me the 3 cups that I need for the casserole. Now, to this, I'm going to try and add, I think, 7 ounces of cooked spaghetti is going to be a little too much. Let's start putting it in.
That looks good, Nancy.
I used most of it, a little bit left.
And I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator for a few minutes.
Okay. Will you put this 350?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Doesn't take too long to make that casserole, does it?
No. I have a separate little dish here because I'm going to top off the regular casserole with shredded cheese, and of course we have someone that we have to be careful of, dairy, so of course it's just the cheese that really makes it.
Right. We don't want to have to rush him to the hospital. No.
Cheese that makes the dish, huh? Oh well. Okay. I don't know why, particularly the mushrooms weren't mixed in, but the way the recipe says is I've got a 4-ounce can of mushroom stems, pieces, sliced, whatever, and I'm going to lay them on top of the casserole. Almost done here. And I will finish it off with a cup at least of shredded cheddar cheese. Make a nice topping on it. This will go into a 350-degree oven. For about 20 minutes. And I'm going to cover it with foil. And after that, I will uncover it and bake it for another 10 minutes or so. So we will, how are you going there, Gordy?
My pie filling is all ready, but I'm just waiting for my pie crust to cool down a little bit,
okay.
and then I'll put this in.
So she's got her pudding thickened up, and then we have to wait for the pie crust to cool. And we'll be back when these things are completed.
My pie shell is all baked, and my pudding for my chocolate pie is all cooked and thickened. So I'm going to put it into my pie shell. You can serve this with whipped cream. Now that has to cool down. Let's see if I can get the rest of this in there. After you do this, you put it in the refrigerator to cool it down, and then you're all set for your dessert for your nice dinner party or dinner, picnic, or anything else that you want to do. So it's very easy to make. It's very good. It's very good, and it's a good pie to make if you have to make a quick dessert quick. And I hope you try it.
Welcome back to our table. We made a casserole today and a yummy looking chocolate pie. My casserole is a colorful chicken casserole, and with the vegetables in it, that's where it gets its name. Very easy to put together. And this is program 264. I started out by sauteing the celery and the onions. I could have used some green pepper too, but I'm not a big fan of green pepper, so I decided not to use it. After that was cooked down, I added some chicken broth and then frozen peas, defrosted, or frozen corn, defrosted, of course. And heated that up again, and then stirred in 3 cups of cooked chicken. And I happened to use a deli in a package chicken breast strips that I cut into cubes, and almost 7 ounces of cooked spaghetti, which I broke off into bits, pieces about that long. Keep warming it up in the fry pan, and then you put that into a greased baking dish, and then on the top you lay a 4-ounce can of sliced or piece mushrooms. Don't ask me why they didn't add. Didn't call for mixing it in all together, but it's on the top. And then sprinkle a cup of shredded cheddar cheese on top, so you got the melted cheese on top. And you just bake it for 20-30 minutes. You're just warming it up. So that's your main course, and we'll turn it over to Gordy for dessert.
Today I made my favorite chocolate pie, which is very easy to make, and I used a store-bought pie crust. I usually make my own, but as I said before, I didn't know we had a food processor, and that's what I usually make it in. Well, anyway, my chocolate pie is made of a half a cup of cocoa, 1 1/8 cup of sugar, a third a cup of cornstarch, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You put that in a pan and mix it all up, and then you add 3 cups of milk, 3 tablespoons of butter, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla, and you cook it until it thickens. And then in the meantime, you cool your pie crust off, and then when this is done, you put this in your cool pie crust, and then put it in the refrigerator with a piece of plastic wrap so it won't form a film over it. I'm sure you would like it, so please try it, and it's a very quick dessert that you can make for last minute dinners, parties, or whatever. And if you would like any of these recipes, please send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Dalton Community Cable, 151 Park Avenue, Dalton, Mass. 01226. And that is all from our kitchen today. Have a great cold day.